Seller was in foreclosure. They tried listing the house on market. They had just bought it in 2021, I believe, not too long ago. And then they bought it at kind of the higher price of the market. And then, didn't take amazing care of it. It wasn't terrible or anything, but it's a 5,000 square foot house. You've had a family, you've had kids there, kids draw on the wall or whatever. And it doesn't show super well for an on-market listing, as you know.
You want it pristine when you go on market, yeah.
You don't want there to be any issues. You don't want people to be concerned about it. And so they just weren't able to do that with their situation. And so they just listed it with how it was. And they took good photos and everything. And, the outside of the house showed really well. And it has a great pool, great neighborhood, West Omaha, Millard area. But it's also a higher price point house. It was $600,000. And they had it on market for 6 months. They never got one offer. And they started at like $630,000, $650,000. They bought it for $610,000. And then after a couple months, they dropped it to that $610,000 price. And that was basically where they needed to be to break even on it, just to sell the house, just to get rid of it. And they, foreclosure for 18 months. And, at that point, not paying, way behind. Ended up being, I think we were $70,000 behind. And we ended up finding a buyer, 2 or 3 weeks before the auction.
Amazing.
And they had already extended once.
So this was like, all right, dude, they're not extending
we talked
after
to
this.
the bank first. We try to go through all the options first. Selling on market is your top option. But then there's, 6 or 7 other options here that you can to save a house or sell a house. We cleared the auction date for tomorrow, and that was on Monday. So they were stressing the whole time. I was definitely sweating too, getting all the attorney paperwork figured out and getting the payment to the bank and everything. But just super happy that the way that it turned out. When we got it all wrapped up, the seller had called me and was just so thankful. And sometimes you never know with sellers in these situations, when everybody's being truthful or not. It's kind of you got to read people. And this time when she called me, it was she was you just
relieved.
Feel the weight off of her. And there was also a third party in this story where, another person had moved out of the country that had co-signed on this property with them so they could buy the house.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that makes it really tricky because that was a best friend. And he wasn't really too privy on all this.
Oh.
And his goal was to move back to the U.S. He's not a citizen of the U.S., but his goal is to get his green card here and buy a house. But now his credit was shot as well. So it was very key for not only them, but to save this relationship.
Oh my goodness.
Of the friend.
Yes.
That had trusted them and got them the house in the first place.
Oh my goodness.
So so we helped 3 people, 2 families basically in this situation.
Hey, welcome back to the Doxzon Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Todd Doxzon, joined with my homie, Josh Kolbo. What's up, Josh?
What's going on,
How you doing? Hey, I got to start with how we met. It's funny because I'm working out at Lifetime Fitness, and I think you were in the alpha section, if I remember right.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm in between a set, I'm dying. And you're like, hey, dude, don't mean to interrupt. And I'm like, please do. I'm gassed right now.
Yep.
And I think you had somehow got some of our messages or something, and you were moving back from California, and you're like, hey, dude, I listened to some stuff, and I don't know, we just had a really cool connection. I looked at this, I'm like, dang, Josh is getting after it, cool cat. And I remember saying, have you gotten connected yet? And I'm like, dude, we got a small group starting. You'd be perfect. Jump in and kind of talk a little real estate, and here we are months later.
Yeah.
On the pod, man.
Yeah, pretty much a year later.
Was it? Has it been a year already?
Yeah, I think I met you in May or June.
Golly, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
So tell us, for the listeners, you're an agent, investor, family dude, Christian, come to the church. Maybe just tell a little bit of people, give them an idea of who you are, just the cliff notes of your journey.
Yeah, I grew up here too, like you did in Nebraska. I was from Kearney.
Kearney?
Yeah, Kearney.
Both my brothers went to Kearney, dude.
Oh,
UNK.
Really?
Yeah.
UNK?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, party town. And so, grew up there, and I wanted nothing more than to get out of Nebraska when I graduated high school, and thought there was a million other places that I would like to see, and did that. Went to Tennessee, then went to California. little bit time in Spain, and
I didn't know about the Spain, dude.
that was a
cool.
short trip, but I thought I was gonna live there for a second, and then I was like,
You're like, yeah.
no, there's too many naps. They nap in the middle of the day.
The siesta, bro. I love that.
I was not into
I
the
studied
siesta.
in Mexico. I love the siesta. It was great.
But yeah, ultimately landed in California for about 12 years.
Yeah.
And then my wife came out there when we got married. And she
Southern
was
Cali.
school. Yeah, I was in Southern California, Orange County, and then
Where did you meet your wife?
middle school.
Middle
Yeah,
school.
She would walk across the street from me when we walk home. She had a much shorter commute by foot, but I walked the same way and then some past her. We never talked.
That is you just admired her from afar. You're like, that's my future wife right there.
And then we became friends in high school.
Dang, dude.
And then rekindled in college.
Was she an athlete as well? Because you're a soccer guy, right?
Yeah, she was a Division I swimmer.
Dang.
And very focused on that and very good. And she went to school for swimming, and then I went to school for soccer.
Where'd she go to school?
USD.
USD. Vermilion?
Yep.
South Dakota and Vermilion, yeah. And then you went where?
I went to Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
Played soccer there.
Soccer.
And then, moved straight from there to go work for Oakley in Southern California. And
Oakley? What was the connection there, bro? You just like the shades or what?
Well, yeah, a little bit. And then my dad had worked for the Buckle for, he's probably on like 40 something years
Oh my
now,
goodness.
more than I've been alive. And he had a lot of connections with different brands. And so that was one of the ones that I connected with. And
That's so cool.
he gave me an internship right out of college, and it turned into a job very quickly. I was like, well, yeah, I'm going to stay here in Orange County.
Heck yes. That's where we went to Bible college. I love Southern Cali.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So your wife moved, so were you married, did she moved out there, then you got married out there? Or how'd that work?
I was out there living the solo dream, just riding bikes, playing soccer, going to the beach, and working at Oakley. And
Dang,
wasn't a very hard job.
Dude, what a blast.
It was a lot of fun. And then, but it starts weighing on you. You're like, all right, this is just by myself.
Yeah.
And then she had reached out to me a couple of years. She was in grad school, and I was probably there for maybe a year or two. And then she reached out. We started kind of talking again, and then dated long distance.
Dang.
And got married, and she moved out there right when we got married, and she was done with her grad school. So
Wow.
it was cool. And then we moved up to Santa Cruz,
Okay.
which is Northern California, San Jose, San Francisco area.
What was the draw there? Just
My wife got a job for when she had moved out. She just graduated occupational therapy school.
Okay.
And then got a job up near Santa Cruz. And at that time, I had transitioned to working for Trek Bikes. And I was doing like marketing. I was doing events, a lot of time I was driving in a van. It was living the van life. Before the vans were like super cool, but I would sleep in there a lot of times, go to events.
Wow.
Again, just living the solo life.
Living the
going
dream.
to all these like mountain bike events and
Wow.
Things like that. So it was a lot of fun.
Okay, so then let's fast forward. How the heck real estate? How did you get into real estate then?
Well, yeah, I was definitely not interested at all, even in owning a house. I thought, I moved to Southern California. I was paying $300 for rent in a room of I'd try to be creative about where I'd live and things, and I'd just see what kind of connections I had in different places that I was going.
Wow.
And got a room for $300, and then that turned into, somebody else wanted me to live with them, and then that was $500, and then that kept going for about 4 years.
Oh my goodness.
Then my wife came and they doubled the rent on me. They moved it from 500 to 1,000.
Oh, that's too funny.
But no, he was a good friend. So
that is hilarious.
It was perfect. And then we moved quickly after that up to Northern California. And then it was like, oh, we're like, she's not just going to rent a room in a house. Not that she's like super picky or anything.
Create a family and this whole deal.
She's like, we're getting a real spot here. Like, we're not going to go, house hack and rent with somebody else.
That is too funny.
So we got a condo that we rented for a couple years. And then that's when we kept looking at things and realized like, oh, it's a lot of money to buy a house in Santa Cruz. It's one of the most expensive markets in the U.S. kind of, and especially for rent too. So that kind of made us look at it. And then, COVID started, and about 3 weeks in, we saw a condo, and we were kind of just bored sitting at our house and saw a condo, and she's like, I think we should make an offer on this.
Wow.
So it's like, okay. And the guy, the seller just walked us through it on his phone because they were locked down like hard in California.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So they just walked us through on iPhone, and we're like, we already lived in the complex, so we knew what the condos were like.
Oh, you already, okay. It's the same condo complex.
It's we've been in this unit before.
Okay.
There's only 4 different layouts, and, it's dated and everything. But like, yeah, this will work. And
amazing.
We were the only offer, really. And so we got that, and then we renovated it while we were living in it.
Meaning, okay, let's pause real quick. We meaning
me and my wife.
You literally you put the sweat equity into it.
Oh yeah, we're from Nebraska. Like that was the thing.
You know how to do that. See, I would wreck something.
Neither of us knew.
And you just got on YouTube and were like, we'll figure it out.
Yep, YouTube University, as we call it, and we just look up stuff and try to research about the different things and what we needed to do. And
amazing.
So, and my wife was pregnant at the time.
What are the numbers on that deal? Like, do you remember like roughly what it was?
Oh yeah, this was like, whew. I'm not buying a condo for this, but it was $569 we bought it for. And then
2.2, 3.2,
3, 1.5.
3.5, okay.
960 square feet.
Yep.
So nothing huge.
Yeah.
But
it's Cali. It's Cali,
you can
dude.
walk 5 minutes to the beach.
Come on.
We thought it was like the best spot. We just happened to fall onto it when we were looking for rentals, and we had the nicest landlord there. And we just fell in love with all the neighbors, and the complex had a pool.
Come on, dude.
We could walk to 2 different really nice beaches, and we thought the best beaches in town. So we just wanted to put down some roots there. And so $569 we bought it for, and then we renovated it over a year and a half time when we were living there. And then we're like, this. I had started listening to BiggerPockets. And my wife actually bought Brandon Turner's book. I think it was like... some like Learn to Rent. It was like one of his best books.
I have that. It's a blue book, I think. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, my wife randomly bought it. And I was like, why did you buy this? And I think she read it, but then I read it because pretty much any book she gets, then I'll just read it because I'm too lazy to pick out a book to buy.
She's like, here, take this.
So I'll just read it after she reads it. And then I was like, oh, this is like how all my friends that live here, their parents have these houses that are, $1 to $2 million. I'm like, oh, this is how you can like buy houses, or you can utilize the equity in your house to buy more houses.
Exactly.
And then my mind just got like blown.
Education.
And then I started listening to BiggerPockets, read The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then I was kind of like, all right, well, everything else doesn't matter now. Like, this is what we're doing. We're doing real estate. So finished.
So you kind of just jumped right in then, dude. Yeah. You're fully convinced at that time.
Oh yeah, I get easily convinced and then I jump in. So. We renovated that, took out a HELOC. I think we got a HELOC for like $130,000. And then
because you forced the equity, you got.
We went from like $569 and they appraised it at $800. I think it was.
Yeah. How much did you? What do you say? Like roughly, you put in 50, 100 grand, something like that.
Probably 45 to 55.
Yeah.
I think.
So you put that in there, sweat equity. All of a sudden, it appraises for in the 8s. You pull out a HELOC of 120, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have been like an amazing deal if I would have, gone back and known what I know now and penciled it all out, and then I paid somebody to do all the work. Like, it probably wouldn't have worked, and I probably wouldn't buy the deal again. Like, if I just was today.
But you had to get started, dude.
I also had a 3% interest rate.
Come on.
And then I refinanced I did a cash out I did a refinance, and then I did the HELOC. I didn't do a cash out refinance, but got it down to like a 2.7. A little bit less than what I was at.
Unbelievable.
And then that got us the HELOC, the line of credit, so that we could utilize that money to buy another place.
Okay.
You pretty much run out of money pretty quickly.
Right. You got to tap into your equity to liquidate some funds. And tell me but the next property then.
The next property then we bought was just down the street, same neighborhood. We knew we didn't want to like move outside of this Capitola, it's called, is the town that is in Santa Cruz. And we just wanted to stay there. So we were just looking at every single house that would come up, and most of the houses were 1.2 to, $2 million for like a nicer house. And we got one for 1.2 that had 2 units. That was a big thing for us.
It had 2 units.
Yeah, we wanted to house hack. It wasn't a duplex, but it had a separate
ADA or something.
Yeah, it was like an ADU, but
or ADU, excuse me.
It was just a legal separate living space.
Yep.
And so we were allowed to, buy that, use that other side for rent, and then the house hacks strategy, and then we were living in the other one.
You were living in the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were able to rent out both of the new house. You were able to rent out both of those sides, but you stayed in your original house.
Yep.
Okay.
We moved out of the condo.
You moved out of the condo into the home, rented out the ADU and the old condo.
Yeah.
Got it.
Turned that condo. We pretty much had it kind of designed already. So we redid a little bit of the furniture, kept it furnished. Made it a little bit more like Airbnb worthy type of thing for pictures and stuff. And then started renting that on a monthly basis to traveling professionals, corporate rentals and things like that. And it was pretty quick. We got that dialed in like 2 weeks. We got out, we moved into the other place. We rented that in like 3 days, which we were stoked about.
Come on, dude.
And that was, rent there for that condo was probably at that time around $3,300 to $3,500 per month. And
per month.
We got a lease for like 12 weeks for, I think it was $5,300 a month.
Wow.
So it was like, time and a half.
That's great.
What you would get for long-term rent.
It's fantastic. And you're self-managing it, obviously.
We were self-relieved and because we didn't know like how it was going to go. I had listened to a bunch of podcasts and stuff.
You never know. You got to take a shot.
Yeah, took a shot and it worked out great. And we've been doing that for a long time on that one now.
And you still own that unit?
Yeah, still own that. Own that one.
Did you have your license at that time, or when?
No,
tell me about that.
That was
just from the investment side.
Yeah, I was still working for Trek.
Okay.
At that time, I was a sales rep, and we just kind of did that on the side. And
Okay.
COVID, we weren't traveling for work anymore, so that renovation side, we just kind of did, in our free time. And
got it.
Moved on to the new house, and then same thing. We still really hadn't learned the whole like pay somebody else to do your work.
So you guys started renovating that one too.
So immediately we moved into the junky lower side of the new house,
Oh.
and it was like 1950s original beach house.
Wow.
And so we lived in the dump down there, and then my wife was like, I went to a work trip for like a week, and I came back and she had like painted the whole upstairs. After we'd done a lot of renovations, and she was like crushing it. And then she's like, we got to get this rented. Like, let's go. And I was gone. She had 2 kids. She put the kids to bed, and she'd go out and upstairs to the other unit and just
get after
her
it.
heart out.
Good for her.
1 a.m.
Are you serious?
So
wow.
That was cool. We got that one ready.
That's great. That's the Division I athlete coming out right there.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's so cool. What a blessing that is. So, okay. So then you renovated the top. You're living in the bottom. Then what?
Yeah. Then ran out of money, obviously. And so then that's when I kind of fell into, as I was doing all my projects and stuff, I was listening to podcasts, still listening to a lot of BiggerPockets. And that's when Pace Morby came up on one of the BiggerPockets podcasts. Mm-hmm. And I remember vividly like listening to his first one, and I never heard of him before. And then I was like, wow, this guy seems a lot different than most of the people they had on BiggerPockets at that point. And he was like all about giving away all this stuff, all this free stuff, and really not trying to hook you or guard any of their stuff. They were just pretty much giving away all the info that he could. And I was like, well, this seems a lot different. So then I like listened to all of his that he'd ever been on BiggerPockets, and then just started. This is kind of what happens with Pace. He get hooked on him, and he's really entertaining also, and just very inspiring and motivational. So you just listen to like everything you can. And he's got a whole YouTube channel and all this stuff. You can learn all about it. And he just did a little bit different than the traditional BiggerPockets model. At that point was like, use your finances that you can get your primary residence loans, and you don't have to put a lot down, but you have to qualify. You go buy it, you move into it, and then you make it a rental. That was kind of like my idea of what renting and building your portfolio was. And so then this kind of flipped it, because in California you're buying $1 to $2 million houses,
right?
And you can't really do that very, very long,
right?
And so I really grasped onto his idea of you can buy a house with zero money down. You can even make money when you buy a house. You can, and that's like
wholesaling, sub to that whole idea.
Yeah, and like you can get deals for 10% down, 15% down, and you don't have to technically qualify for these. You just need a plan in place that will cover it.
That's right.
And so that was like a whole new concept for me. And that's where I started really diving in and thinking, okay, there's like a way to scale this a little bit faster than I thought, and really got into structuring creative finance deals and cash wholesaling deals. So basically I worked with a team I joined his program first, which is called Sub 2.
They're in California.
Yeah, they're national. Like they started in Arizona, but
they have branches all over the place. They
have meetups everywhere. Like we have our meetup here in Omaha.
What year was that when you first started?
2022.
2022. Okay, yeah.
So I just started listening to all the Zooms that they have, classes and courses or university style courses now, or just regular weekly Zooms of people doing deals, calling sellers, do whatever strategy it is that they're focusing on. You could get in a Zoom on any of them.
I love it.
You can talk back and forth with other leaders in the Sub 2 community. You could get on and talk with Pace, ask him questions and things like that. So tell the listener, sorry to interrupt you, but just give them a basic idea of what Sub 2 is. Like just give them maybe a quick example of, so for the listener that's not familiar with that, creative financing option. You want an example of what Sub 2 is?
Yeah, like just the basics of what it is, and then maybe an example.
Well, Sub 2 stands for subject to, which is where you buy a property that is subject to the debt that's already in place. So you're basically, I got a mortgage on my house. I want to sell it to you, Todd, and I don't want to, pay off my mortgage, or I might not be able to. So I'm going to give you my mortgage, and I'm going to give you the house. So it's kind of like a package deal. You got your house, got your financing. I'm going to smack it together, and I can sell it for a little bit more to you because it's a combo. So you're getting the bundle. And then,
so that usually is someone maybe that says, hey, I'm kind of struggling a bit. I just need to get out of the house. But you come and you say, hey, I'll take it over. And then you can either hold on to it, rent it out, or you can find a buyer, right? Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah. You can either buy it yourself, or you can sell it to somebody else that wants that deal. Because not every deal works for every person. And so there's been plenty of deals that doesn't work for me, but I know somebody else that would buy it, or I can find somebody that would buy it and kind of know what that fine line is. So that's where I kind of moved into, was structuring those and selling those.
I gotta go on a quick little rabbit trail, and then we'll come back. So don't let me forget this. So one of the cool deals you did just recently in Omaha, tell us about that, because I remember you shared this with me. You're like, hey, what do you think about this deal? And it was a nice home. Yeah. I think it had a pool in the backyard, good neighborhood.
5,000 square feet.
But yeah, it's like 5,000 square feet. It was a good deal, but those folks needed to move on. And so you're going to bat trying to find a buyer. Tell us just briefly about that story, because I thought that was so cool, man. Because it's like running at the end of down to the end of the wire, man, and you had to get rid of that deal.
Seller was in foreclosure. They tried listing the house on market. They had just bought it in 2021, I believe, not too long ago. And then they bought it at kind of the higher price of the market, and then didn't take amazing care of it. It wasn't terrible or anything, but it's a 5,000 square foot house. So you've had a family, you've had kids there. Kids draw on the wall or whatever, and it doesn't show super well for an on market listing. As you want it.
You want it pristine when you go on market. Yeah.
You don't want there to be any issues. You don't want people to be concerned about it. And so they just weren't able to do that with their situation. And so they just listed it with how it was, and they took good photos and everything. And the outside of the house showed really well, and it has a great pool, great neighborhood, West Omaha, Millard area. But it's also a higher price point house. It was $600,000. And they had it on market for 6 months. They never got one offer. And they started at like $630,000, $650,000. They bought it for $610,000, and then after a couple months, they dropped it to that $610,000 price. And that was basically where they needed to be to break even on it, just to sell the house, just to get rid of it. And they, foreclosure for 18 months, and at that point, not paying, way behind. Ended up being, I think we were $70,000 behind, and attorney fees. They tried to do a loan modification, which is like one of the steps before you get to auction.
Okay.
Like, hey, let's save, like the bank works with you. They readjust your payments. They put it on the back, all that kind of stuff. So all those fees kind of added up.
Try to keep you in the house.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to take a house because
they're going to lose money. The bank would have lost. If it went to auction, they wouldn't have sold it for what we sold it for.
Sure.
The bank would have lost 70, 80 grand just from selling it, because they would have sold it for less than 500, I'm sure, at auction. So we sold it for 597.
Wow.
That was kind of like the advertised price
Okay.
of it. And then we got the agent paid that was selling the house.
Okay.
I took it over, we structure a wholesale deal on this. We structure it because we need to go fast. So we structure it so that somebody would want to buy it.
Yeah.
And it's
You
a little
incentivize
tougher one because, Omaha, a lot of people that are investors, they want $350,000 houses, $400,000 maybe. It's kind of like it starts to get shy.
They don't really want to go a little bit too much higher.
They want to stay that median income or median price point.
Yep.
And so this one's a little bit trickier, less of a buyer pool.
Okay.
And then so we ended up finding a buyer, 2 or 3 weeks before the auction.
Amazing.
And they had already extended once. So they extended once.
So this was like, all right, dude, they're not extending
we talked
after
to
this.
the bank first. Like, we try to go through all the options first. Like, selling on a market is your top option. But then there's, 6 or 7 other options here that you can do to save a house or sell a house. And so we tried to go through all those, and we talked to the bank, see if they have other options. Can they extend it? Can we do another loan modification? Any of those things to try to keep it if that's the seller's goal. In this case, they were moving out of state and everything. So they just wanted to get rid of it and be able to buy a house again.
Yep.
Because when you go into auction, it's going to be another 7 years that you could buy a house, basically.
Interesting.
Assuming you can get your credit up in that time frame as well.
Okay.
And so, this is a little bit better, or this is a lot better for them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't make any money on the house, but they sold the house, and they don't have an auction on their record.
Nice.
Their credit's already been shot.
Yeah.
Because of 18 months of foreclosure,
you can build that up, though.
But you can build
that back up.
And so that's kind of what we talked about for them. That was a priority for them. So that was just their biggest goal, was to get it sold, not to go to auction.
Yep.
And then we found an investor buyer that kind of wanted a house in Omaha, because he's from out of the area and they come here a lot. They were going to rent it to some family members and then also use it kind of when they were in town to go to the zoo or go to the airport. So instead of driving 3 hours to the airport in the morning, they'd drive there the day before, stay the night, because it had like 3 levels. The bottom level had a whole other like living space and kitchen.
Wow.
So you could kind of use it like an ADU as well. And
sure.
So that was really appealing to them.
Wow.
So they paid off all the sellers past due. The foreclosure auction date was on a Tuesday. We got it all funded and bank paid off. They said
they cleared it.
We cleared the auction date for tomorrow, and that was on Monday. So they were stressing the whole time. I was definitely sweating too, getting all the attorney paperwork figured out and getting the payment to the bank and everything. But just super happy that the way that it turned out.
I was going to say, that's got to feel good for you. I mean, so I wanted to ask, from the financial side, I mean, because dude, you're having a lot of time invested and making calls and working everything together. So there's got to be a financial increase for you, but there's also just helping people. That's got to feel good as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when we got it all wrapped up, the seller had called me and was just like so thankful. And sometimes you never know with like sellers in these situations, like when everybody's being truthful or not. It's kind of like you got to read people. And this time when she called me, she was like, you just
relieved.
Feel the weight off of her. And there was also a third party in this story where another person had moved out of the country that had co-signed on this property with them so they could buy the house.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that makes it really tricky because that was a best friend. And he wasn't really too privy on all this.
Oh.
And his goal was to move back to the U.S. He's not a citizen of the U.S., but his goal is to get his green card here and buy a house. But now his credit was shot as well. So like it was very key for not only them, but to save this relationship.
Oh my goodness.
Of the friend.
Yes.
That had trusted them and got them the house in the first place.
Oh my goodness.
So we helped like 3 people, 2 families basically in this situation.
What a great feeling, man.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was pumped after that one and like, all right, let's do like 10 more of these. The hard part is finding these people.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I network a lot. I run the Meetup and everything. And
I
so
love your Meetup. Your Meetup is awesome.
Thanks. Yeah. And this just came from, somebody that knew what I do. He said, this isn't a deal for me, but I think you can help this person.
Yeah.
Connected me with the agent. And that's where we went from. And a lot of people think you can't structure investor deals on market because this house was listed on market for 6 months. There's lots of opportunities on market that you can structure. There's just different problems than what, a cash investor is usually solving. So you just gotta get creative on that.
It's funny because that just hit me. Like, dude, you're a problem solver.
Yeah.
That's really a great niche. I mean, obviously you're an amazing agent and you do a variety of different deals, but the sub 2, you learn that, and we'll go back to that. But that just hit me. It's like, dude, you have a gift to solve problems. And I always say, find your woe, find your flow, like woe is me if I don't do this, like what burdens you. But I feel like that's part of your flow is helping people really solve problems.
Yeah. That's kind of how I pitch it when I'm talking to someone is like, I got a big toolbox here, a bunch of options. We just need to figure out what's your priorities and what's your goals and, what the distress is. If there's a lot of times there's no distress. That's what realtors normally work with are the people that, hey, we want to move.
Moving on. We
don't need to move, but we want to move. So we have the means that we can fix up our house, we can get it pristine, and we can sell it on market. And that's, 70 to 80% of people maybe. And then there's this other bunch that a lot of realtors don't know what to do with. They just tell them like, yeah, fix up your house.
And those people are sweating going, bro, I got no cash to do that right now.
They don't got any cash to fix it up.
Wow.
They are negative on their payments. A lot of times those questions aren't even asked about what kind of debt they owe and things. So we go through a list and I ask a bunch of questions and then we try to narrow it down to, what is going to be the best solution for you. And then I kind of present what I think is based off what they've told me, what's the best option for them. Or maybe 2 options. And then here's why I would choose this one. And here's why I choose this one. Which one do you feel like is the better option?
Really good. Really good, Josh. I love that, dude.
So yeah, it's being a problem solver and just taking a look at, all the options available.
Thorough.
Yeah.
Wise. So, okay, let's go back to that. So 2022, you're going to these sub 2 meetings, you're learning, you're growing. Where in the process did you get your real estate license?
I got that in 2024. In
2024, okay.
Yeah, because
in California.
I stopped working for Trek that year and got my license. And so I just wanted to be full-time in real estate.
Okay.
And I just felt like it was another option that I could have like in my toolbox. Like, I can do the top level where, the price, the highest selling price and going on market is a seller's option. And that's what they want to do. I can do that. And then also helping friends in the area. I became a realtor because I didn't have a great experience with my first realtor. And
interesting.
And I just felt like it was way less than awesome. It was also during COVID. So if the guy's ever listening,
give him some grace for sure.
I love the guy.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't a great experience. And it was California in 3 weeks in COVID.
Yeah.
So I can't blame him.
Yeah.
But then I was always being asked for a 5-star review after, and it just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, I think I can maybe bring more value here.
Yeah. Yeah. And then just a less pressured sales process too. Cause that's one of the things with realtors, you got to go in, you got to sell the whole house. I don't feel like I really have to sell the house. The house sells itself for the most part, and the buyers know what they want to buy.
Right.
You don't have to go in and say, hey, I think a couch would look really good over here. They know, and they're looking at the pictures. We got to help them with the negotiations, with the finding the houses.
You just helped me right there. I think you helped a lot of realtors that are listening to this because it's funny. I'll just, dude, full confession real quick. So I have a young couple client right now with a little baby. I love them. I need to find a place for these guys. So dude, just happened last week, I found the perfect place and it was wild because we saw 2 kind of more distressed properties in this really good neighborhood, by their work. And I looked at them and I'm like, dude, this one, there was cat poo and it was gnarly. And they're like, I think this might have potential. And I'm like, what? And so I'm driving out and I see out of the corner of my eye, I see coming soon in the yard, And I'm like, and one of the dreams of this young lady, this wife, is she wanted a sunroom. And so I look at it and I'm like, please be a sunroom, please be a sunroom. So I look at it, I'm like, dude, it's got a sunroom. And you could just tell it was like, you've been seeing enough houses. You see houses that are well kept.
Yeah.
Turns out this house, original owner for 38 years. The place was pristine. So I called the lady. I was like, hey, when's the earliest we can get in there? She's like, well, showing starts Saturday, whatever. So we were the first showing. We go in there and dude, I'm like, I couldn't help it. I'm like, you will buy this. I'm telling them, you will buy this house.
And everything you said you wanted.
I'm like, dude.
To a T.
I'm like, and I looked at them, I'm like, these are the houses I buy. Like, I can tell this is well taken care of. This is before I even really knew, any event. The worst part is later, we put in a full price offer, and I'm like, dude, I'll donate my, you just need to get this. Yeah. Long story short, it was like the next day and the realtor called me and she's like, I'm sorry to inform you that they took a different offer. Yeah. And I'm like, no.
It's been hot, especially in West Omaha.
Yes.
Recently.
West Omaha and that 250 to 350 range. Yep. Things are selling like hotcakes right now.
We had one that was a buyer that was looking at 300-ish prices, and we went through 4 different houses in 2 weeks. I mean, we saw probably 20.
It got beat out on all of them.
Put offers on 4, and the 4th one was the lucky one, but the other 3, he's a single guy too, one income. He was getting beat out by 10, 20 grand on some of these houses.
Golly, man.
And we were going over.
You were escalating even.
Yeah. We were doing escalating and everything. So, but yeah.
You hate to see it. Okay, so you get your license, you start building relationship, you're a relational guy, you have no problem meeting people in Cali, start selling some, decent, because Cali, dude, that's some nice commission checks that you're making.
Some agents will do 4 or 5 deals a year and call it a full-time
salary, deal. Yeah.
Basically. And
makes sense.
It kind of is compared to like a full-time job. If you just go work a full-time job, you can make a similar gross at least.
Yep.
But
so you do that a couple of years in Cali?
I only did it for like 6 months, actually.
Oh, 6 months! Wow.
Because I was doing the wholesaling and stuff for about 2 years.
Okay.
So I would kind of do the activities of it, but I would sell it to a different crowd, and that's what I'd say. Wholesaling, we're selling to investors typically. We just have a different audience, and then realtors, we're selling to
regular consumers, clients.
Retail buyers.
Yeah, retail buyers.
And so I was doing a lot of the same stuff. So I'm like, well, I might as well just get my license too.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Add one more solution that I can provide.
That makes sense.
And then, not too long after that, my wife was like, hey, you want to move back to Nebraska? I was like, huh. I mean, I knew it was kind of on the mind. Yeah. But she's like, no, I think this time it's like for real.
And the girls were how old at that? I mean,
5 and 6.
5 and 6, yeah.
Roughly,
so it's kind of like let's get back to the Midwest, get back to some roots, some family.
In first grade the next year, so we're like, let's get back to Nebraska schools and Nebraska community. Definitely, nothing against California, but
Cali's
people
great.
Are extremely nice here, and especially when you move back, you're like, oh yeah, people just talk to you. We go to the bank. The banker's talking to you about your whole life for 15 minutes type of thing. And I talked to my banker in California about 2 sentences in 8 years type of thing.
Yeah.
So I love that part about it. And I'd say I'm a little bit similar to that. But yeah, we loved moving back, getting them in that community, getting closer to cousins. All their grandparents are here.
That's awesome.
And everything. You don't have to buy the, $1 million, $2 million house that's, 10 times older and 10 times smaller than what you can get in California.
Yeah.
But we still have roots there. We still have the condo. We're actually going back next week.
Oh, cool.
To visit, surf, mountain bike, all those things. So the things that we love about living there.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You can go back, and it's funny. That's how I am with Florida. When I go back to either the house in Mexico or Florida, you go back there a couple weeks. It's a place that we lived, we love. So you move back here. But you had to transfer your license. Tell me how that worked then.
Nebraska was pretty easy.
Was it really?
Yeah. I mean, I think you do more training in California than you do in Nebraska as far as classes and hours.
Okay.
And then if you're transferring from California to Nebraska, You just need to take 1 or 2 courses.
Okay, cool.
You don't have to take another test or anything.
Cool.
And so, transferred that over and then kind of hit the ground running once we moved here. And took a little break before that with the kids in the summer and everything. And then found a brokerage that was investor friendly.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of different rules in Nebraska than there's California for a lot of the deals that I'm involved in. So I wanted to make sure that, I was doing it above board and
So good.
making sure everybody has clear expectations on that. And the brokerage I found was super generous and very open, like to solving problems. Like a lot of brokerages, they like the retail problems, and those are the problems that they want to solve, and they're niching down in that, and that's great. But I want to have the ability to help people in any way that I can, and not feel bad about it, and like I'm going, kind of being
Underground
or
yeah.
not totally clear with my broker or things like that. So
that's awesome, dude.
I felt really good about the place that I landed. So
I love it. I want to lean into, so Sub 2, you've been, leading our groups. I went to the first one. I appreciated that. Yeah. This last one, dude, I met Neil, and Neil was he's been a huge blessing on this Florida deal we're doing. Super cool guy,
nice.
Man.
Is he hooking you up with?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
So great lender out there.
Yeah.
So.
Go look up Big Neil. Yeah. He's treating me right. And you can just tell too, like he gets after it. Like he's like, we're going to get this deal done.
Yeah.
And for lenders, man, like my other lender, Cody Levinson, like I like guys that like, we will figure this out.
Yeah.
And they don't like, oh, this is too hard. Like, no, I like his style, but he was an example. So I love the Sub 2 meetings. Maybe pitch that real quick for anybody listening right now. What would you tell them about some of the meetings you're leading?
Yeah. So we have a Omaha Sub 2 meetup.
Okay.
And basically Sub 2 is the, nationwide. I think there's even people like in other countries now that are in Sub 2. And basically, I pitch Sub 2 as a investment community.
Okay.
Pace is kind of transitioning how he talks about it to an investment economy, because basically the idea is you can get everything done that you need to get done, all the resources, all the money,
Love that.
all the training, all the knowledge, basically on any strategy within real estate. It started just kind of focused on Pace was doing subject to and creative finance, seller finance, structuring those, maybe what people love to say is the 0 down, 0% for 30 years, the dream deal that you could get on a seller finance. And that would, be a great investment for somebody. That's kind of where he started. And that's, I think, why he got a lot of the traction too, was very appealing, especially the younger generation.
For sure. I don't have any money to be talking about investing in real estate. Do this? How the heck do we do this?
And so, they really equip you with the tools, the knowledge, the connections, wherever you want to go. People investing in, or that lived in California would invest in, Florida or Nebraska or all these different states because they didn't want to invest in California. And they would have communities that they could plug into through Sub 2 there and have trusted individuals. I think at this point there's probably 20,000 or more members within Sub 2.
Is there really? Wow.
I think it's the biggest investment group. They just had the biggest real estate event.
That's so cool.
I believe as kind of what they were saying with.
I think you talked about that last meeting.
Yeah, Squat Up Summit is what it was called. And so it kind of exceeded the size of the BiggerPockets podcast, which is really cool. It's a paid community. But compared to a lot of the other communities out there, or there's a lot of mentorships and that's what people think Sub 2 is. But really, if you're in a mentorship, you have a specific mentor that is mentoring you through the process. And then usually those are like a 3 to 6 to 12 month thing. You pay for it.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's 20, 50 grand.
Yeah.
And then you're done, you're out of it. This is like you pay one time, you're in the community for life type of thing. You're not ever going to be sold another thing. He doesn't even get money from the sales process of it. There's a different company that handles the intake, but they do vet you a little bit. It's not like insane vetting to know that you're like the most righteous person in the world, but they do a little bit.
Yeah.
Enough to be like, okay, this is a person with a good fit. And Pace does a great job, and a lot of the other leaders do a good job of setting that culture, that it's like a go-giver community where it's not all about just the one person, just about Pace. There's plenty of other people that know a lot, even more than Pace does on different strategies. So he really just elevates people. And so that's kind of when I came to Nebraska, there wasn't a meetup here. And my brother-in-law is in the His name's Jacob. You've met him.
Yeah, Jacob's cool, dude.
He's in the Gator program, which is part of Sub 2. It's kind of like an offshoot, but it's just about if somebody wants to do lending and they want to lend other people's money, they want to lend their money, they want to, try to do, it's basically like wholesaling for money. You're just selling other people's money to people that need it.
Yep. You're a facilitator of hard money, basically.
Yeah. So
or creative financing.
He's in that community. And when I was coming back, he's like, nobody in Sub 2 or Gator really like communicate. And that's the whole part of, Sub 2 is to be a community.
Heck yeah, dude.
To network with the other people.
Oh, it's a win-win at that point.
Yeah. So he kind of motivated me like right away, just start it. And that was the best way for
I'm so glad you did, man.
Too, yeah, to just learn more about market. Like I'm very familiar. I've grown up here and, know the markets. I got aunts and uncles everywhere. So pretty familiar, but like there's nuances that are different than California. And so it's a great way for me to learn too about the different strategies that work here versus elsewhere.
So cool, man.
And so, yeah, we do that once a month. It's usually either the third Tuesday or the third Wednesday of the month. And then we usually have some speaker, whether they've done 100 deals or like 2 deals.
Yeah.
As kind of try to just, emulate what Pace does, prop other people up that can speak, get their name out there.
Yeah.
And, share what they're doing. And it's great to learn from all these different people.
For sure, man.
And then the big goal, though, of it is trying to make it so that people are involved. And it's not just entertainment because, anybody listening to this podcast might just be listening to podcasts and that's all they ever do.
Yep.
Or they might come, that's like the first step, but then you got to get out there.
Right.
And, people will talk about the RIAs and like the Omaha RIAs here is great. There's caffeine and cap rates that Owen Dashner does. Like there's all these different meetups you can go to in Omaha and that's amazing. Like that's the second step, I'd say. Get out from the podcasts and the books, go to the meetups that are going on and meet other people and actually see what's happening in your area. Because a lot of the books and podcasts that you're listening to won't be tailored to your area. And it's very different in different markets.
Really good point.
So I just think that's the next step. And then from there, you need to start taking action on your own, whether that's, if you want to do lead generation, you want to find deals, like go start calling people, start sending mailers out, put signs up, things like that. So that's what I'm really trying to ultimately get to. I don't know that I haven't nailed it yet, but I have had people do deals within the group already that have started coming to the group. So that's amazing. That's a dream that people would do that. And I've done deals with people in the group already. And so it's just a place to come and network and learn.
Cool, man.
And then I try to, at the end, try to get people to talk.
Yeah.
That's like the hardest part is people getting engaged.
Facilitating conversation.
I always like when you're there because then you actually talk.
I talk too much.
So you're
like, all right, be quiet.
We got Todd.
Yeah.
And then, trying to get people involved and say what they're looking for or say what they are selling or what problem they have that needs solved or what problem they can solve. So then everybody in the room's like, oh, I got to go talk to this person after we're done. So then we network for a little bit. Sometimes stay till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. They're just talking. So it's a good time.
I'm really grateful that you took that. You had to take a step of faith, dude. And action. Just like we were talking about this morning at our Bible study. It's like, it's when Joshua those leaders had to put their foot in the water before something happened. And so thanks for your leadership. I was thinking in my own life, going back to 2016, 17, when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then I took a 9-week course. I paid, let's call it $3,500. And it was great. It was a guy for 9 weeks on my day off, 8 to 10 p.m. on a Tuesday night. You'd show up on Zoom and you did the homework, but it was 9 weeks and he was taking you through his journey.
Yeah.
He was talking about, creative financing and how to find deals and starting your own neighborhood, all the things I learned, they started there. But then to your point, as you build a relationship, more deals, you're able to help other people. It's a win-win. So I that's why I love coming to that. And again, if I don't come to that meeting, I don't have the rate that I have for this amazing condo in Fort Lauderdale area. I'm working with some other lenders, but Neil really, he's put his best foot forward for me. So if I wouldn't have showed up that day, and it was a Wednesday, good job by that. Because Tuesday is my day off. So it was like Wednesday was great for me.
Well, that was cool about with him too. Like he's a lender and he's got a product that he's selling, it wasn't just like him up there talking about, hey, here's all the products that I can sell you. It was, hey, here's all the deals. Like he's done over 100 deals or something like that. And here's, a couple of deals I've done, some bad deals I've done, some cool deals.
I love that he did that.
And then like, okay, so I know I've done this. I'm not just like selling you something that I'm not
Yes.
using. Like he's using these products too.
Yes.
So that was really cool. I just liked his presentation. He did a great job. So.
Great job. Yeah. Let's land with this. Okay. So you're a great leader. You're a family man. You do the right thing. You work hard. You're facilitating a lot of connections. I think that's so blessable. If I'm a potential client, why would I hire you in my real estate journey?
Yeah, I think it depends on the scenario.
Okay.
There's some people that just won't be a good fit.
Yeah.
And like somebody that needs to take like, 100 showings to buy a house, like I don't have time to do 100
not the right fit
showings.
Yeah.
Not the right
There's
fit.
people out there, but it's not the right fit.
So I like to work with people that are, similar ideas, and they, they know what they want, or they know how to express some of the things that they may want, so that we can narrow it down for them.
Really good.
And then we can, I can say, okay, this based off what you've told me, here's a great fit, and here's why based off what you said.
Really good.
So just people with kind of like that mindset. But then, whether you want to buy your first house or your third house, I can work with you there. Whether you want to sell your house in that manner, just different ways to do the real estate. Like one client I had, we bought them a new house. They didn't want to do the work or didn't have the money to fix up their other house. They'd start projects. You think you're going to finish them in 20 days, and the next thing you know, it's like 12 months.
Drags on for a year.
You're growing family, and you got to get into the next house. I'm like, oh, I still got these projects, but I need the money to buy the next house. So like, I don't want to do those. So in that situation, we had wholesaled. So basically, we sold his house for no cost to him. We sold his house off market, which was his choice, and he chose to take a little bit less probably than what he could have gotten if we put it on market, but it sold quickly. There's no contingencies on that. So basically, an investor comes and buys it for cash. We can close in, 1 to 2 weeks type of thing.
Yep.
So that set him up to buy the next house.
Ah.
So once we nailed it on the house that they were going to buy, we got it in contract. We didn't have to have a home sale contingency.
No contingency.
Because we were going to buy the house regardless. We just needed to get rid of this one.
Really
quickly.
good. That's a great creative way to do it.
Yeah, we got his new house in contract. We wholesaled to an investor buyer his house. It needed probably 20 to 30 grand to work.
Sure.
It was in that $200,000 range.
Yep.
And so sold that quickly. And that's not everybody's scenario, but that's just one way that I can be creative about it. Especially then if you get more distressed, when there is debt on the property or they owe too much than what they can sell it for. Those are great scenarios. Anybody that, maybe has a portfolio and they want to get out of their portfolio, but they don't want the tax hit of selling, 40 properties and things like that. We can structure a creative seller finance deal where they can get a high price for their property, and not have the huge tax hit that they're going to get.
That's a great call. And then
like
that steady income. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to say like who exactly my one client is. It's people with houses or people with properties. I focus more on the residential side. And I know I should probably niche down a little bit more.
No, I like it.
Real estate's my niche and residential mainly.
I love it.
So I just feel like there's a lot of options that I can provide to people in different scenarios.
I appreciate that. What I would take away because I call you and text you on a regular just because I'm getting to know you, and I know you like solving problems. You like serving people. I've asked, hey, dude, I'm looking to try to do. By the way, I think I talked to you. We did get that rental locked up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Sweet.
so we'll close on that like next Friday. But I was just thinking like you're a problem solver. So, dude, like if I'm a client, I'm like, crap, I don't know how this is all going to work out. Like, I think you're so creative, you can provide solutions. And then also, I think the people that think like you, like, hey, I know what I want, like I'm ready to go. I'm pre-approved. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's have Josh get to work for me.
Well, I think that's what I was going to say too, was there's like, a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, maybe even D and E,
right?
As you go down.
Right.
And, most people selling a house, they got plan A. It's, we want 400 for our house and, it's maybe only worth 300 380, but we're going to get 400.
Wow.
So they throw it up, they do the fancy photos, the fancy videos. And that's what I try to share with a lot of people. Like, those are great. They get you in the door, but at a certain point, that's all you got. And if it doesn't work, you don't have a plan B. You can't go do more videos and more photos. It's hard to just go call a bunch of buyers that want to buy your, a seller's house. Like, you could call the neighbors, you can market to the neighbors more and stuff like that. But at a certain point, like, if they have a price that they have to sell their house for because of their, loan that they have on it, or, other debts that they have to pay off, or whatever it could be.
Sure.
We have plan B, plan C, different scenarios that we can offer. And not everybody needs a plan B or plan C. So, that's where I'm like, if you got somebody you really like, and they're probably a great fit. If they do retail sales, they'll probably be a great fit. They'll do cool videos. It'll look great. They could sell it in a week. But after that week or two, then, and then also like agents. I like to, talk to agents that have those houses. Like the one I sold that was on market for 6 months. We worked with the agent. We didn't go around the agent.
That's cool that you do that, man. I like that.
Basically supported the agent and worked with her to structure this deal. That was on market, that couldn't be sold.
I really like that.
No offers ever. We're going to go sell the house in a couple weeks time frame.
That's blessable.
And it sell for 6 months. And it's not like anything about me. Like, I didn't know, like, Pace and the whole community taught me all this. So I'm just, trying to adapt it to the
standing on their shoulders.
Market. Yeah. But yeah, there's, great opportunities there for agents that have a listing that's sitting and they need a solution. It doesn't have to be a creative offer. I can figure out a different solution, where that's getting a cash offer or, certain type of buyer.
So good.
Yeah.
I think that's blessable too, Josh, man. Yeah. I pray God's favor in your life, because I just see when people, this is what I'm learning more and more as I'm more and more into real estate now. If my motivation in my heart stays humble and genuine, that I really want to honor God and serve people and bless them. I genuinely want God's best for their life, and I can walk into any transaction and it's a win-win-win.
Yep.
I feel great. I sleep great. And I honestly think that's the blessable agent in this season. I really do. So I love learning from you, man. I appreciate you taking the time, dude. I know.
Yeah, thanks for asking me.
Busy,
cool
crazy
studio,
life.
Awesome.
Yeah. Pastor Cap, so generous, man. And, but let me just pray for you real quick, and we'll shut it down. Thanks for Josh and his family. Bless his business, all that he sets his hands to, God, as he honors you. We know as we seek you first and your righteousness, everything else is added to us. So God, give us grace, humility to walk out this calling as real estate agents and investors for your glory, and to help a lot of people in Jesus' name. Amen. Love her, bro. Thanks for being here, man. So cool.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.